All right, here we go. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to go ahead and dive in and start up today's session. So, last time we launched an array of relay satellites into orbit around near Kerbin. Today we're going to make some much beefier satellites, and we're going to put them out way at the edge of Kerbin's sphere of influence, right around the 80 million meter mark, which is out beyond Minmus. And that set of satellites should be strong enough to give us communications all the way out to Duna when we return. So, let's get started tweaking our satellite design and getting our delivery carrier set up. And then we'll head out to the far reaches of Kerbin's SOI and set up our resonant orbit to deliver them. So, if we open up, do we have... I don't think we do. I don't think that satellite was saved as a ship. It was saved as a subassembly. So let's see if we can find that. All right, there we go. There's an RA2. So the first thing we got to do, this is a pretty good ship design, as is. We actually had quite a bit more fuel than we really needed. And we need to probably reroute this after removing one of the fuel tanks. We need to remove the RA2, and we need to add in an RA15. Yeah, here we go. Now, how does that attach? There we go, like that. Now that's a bit of a problem with the solar arrays, however. Camden Morris, hello, welcome to the channel. So I'm building an RA15 satellite here. Can't stay long because I'm going to jiu-jitsu, but I like your content so far. Thank you, I appreciate that. Glad you do. Now, why is this saying 0 meters per second? Not sure about that. I guess having these solar arrays clip in is probably not a good thing. So we need to raise this satellite up a bit. We need probably just a little strut can do it. Something like a cubic octagonal? No, that's too small, I think. That looks better. Okay, let's throw one of those on there. And grab the RA15. Okay, this is looking more like a viable satellite here. Now, I still don't quite understand vacuum. 330 meters per second. Okay, that's going to be more than enough. And what is our TWR? 1.02. So, okay. I need to be able to... We're going out real far. We're going out to 80 million meters. And we need to be able to make very fine adjustments. So this might not be the right engine. So that's the Spark. And the Spark has a thrust in a vacuum of 20 kilonewtons. That might be almost too much. Do we have something about half that size? So the Ant has 2 kilonewtons. That's a little bit too small. The Terrier has 60. 215. Yeah, these are too big. Mainsail. All right, we might need to take a look at RA15 work in progress. Let's just save that for the moment. Might need to look at getting more precision engineering unlocked here so we can get a slightly smaller engine than the Spark. If we come up here, precision propulsion. We've got the Twitch. That has 16 kilonewtons. The Spider with 2. The Puff with 20. I think we already have the Ant, right? Ant was too small, and the Spark was too strong at 20. We want something around 10 if we can find it. 16. 2. I guess we're not going to find it there. The 16 would be better. The Spider, maybe. No, not the Spider. The Twitch. Perhaps. And then, are there any other engines that I haven't seen? Very heavy rocketry, large volume containment, metalwork, composites, metamaterials. We're pretty close to having the entire tree unlocked at this point. I guess we'll just go with precision propulsion here, and we'll use the twitch. It's a little bit lower than the spark. So let's come back in here, and let's replace this engine. Actually, do we even need... We need 35 DV, so we might not even need this fuel tank, but I guess I'm going a little bit overkill here. This is the root part at the moment, so we probably don't want to just delete it. Let's reroute the assembly here. We'll just make the girder the top piece for now. And we can get rid of the engine, bring in the Twitch liquid fuel engine. Tiny engine, but very useful. Good for craft where larger radial engines won't fit, or when you want more control in combination with large lifter engines. Okay. Let's pop one of these on the bottom here. Oh dear, how is this, oh, it's radially mounted. Oh, that's not going to work then. Maybe we do need to use the spark. Because the alternative is what? The spider has 2? That's probably not enough. The ant and the spider both have 2, so the only difference is their efficiency? Huh, why would you ever use the spider, though? Because it has a little bit more thrust in atmosphere, I suppose. Alright, we'll stick with the spark for now. Okay, so this is our new satellite. This is the RA-15 subassembly. Let's route it back to... Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Let's route the whole thing back to the engine. And let's save it as a subassembly. It's going to be an RA-15 relay satellite. Okay. Let's get a new ship going. Let's get rid of the temporary... where is it? RA-15. You can be deleted now. And we can load up the deployer. Okay. So, this craft worked very well for getting the other set of things into orbit. Let's rebuild this. Let's delete the fairing. And start removing the old satellites and putting in the new ones. Now, this is going to be a little bit taller, which is going to change its mass profile. But we should be able to make it work the same. Okay, so what do we have here? We have our protective shell, the fairing, and then we've got our stack separator. So now if we come over here and throw a couple of these on... Right. And then another stack separator. Is it the T12? No, it's this one. Do I need this one? Maybe I don't. Hang on. I think I can get away with this one. And then, yeah, because that's got less mass on it. Then, nope, not the RA2. I want the RA15, right? Oh, I've made a mistake down here. I put the wrong one on. Okay, hold on. I gotta fix this. Okay, that, I think, got rid of too much. We got rid of the fairing. That's a mistake. So, let's put the fairing back on. Right, then we put the stack separator. What do we want here? We want the... TS25. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we go into subassemblies, grab the RA-15. Then back to the 25. Oh, hold on. Now I need to go to the fairing and enable interstage nodes. Clamshell deploy. That's fine. Okay. Now the next... There we go. There, now the next stage. And another satellite. And then the last stage with the final satellite. Oh, it's not going to let me get away with that. It's too tall. Huh. Okay. So with the RA-15 on there, it's too tall. That is troubling. How am I going to get away with this? How do I... Okay, how do I fix this? I could... Huh. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's as high as it'll go. Unless I've done something wrong and like misattached this. No, it'll only go so high, I think. So I'm not going to be able to. We gotta shrink the size of the. We gotta shrink the size of this satellite. It can't be this tall, I guess. Okay, back to the drawing board. So how can we shrink this down so it's not quite so tall? The big problem here is these. So if I get rid of the girder here, well, I could clip it in, I suppose. But maybe it's the structural piece here that's the problem. So let's get rid of this. What is that attached to there? Yeah, this thing's too big. So we need the RA-15. I don't want it really clipping in. I suppose I could rotate these a bit to get them offset. Maybe that's the solution. Let's go ahead and grab the RA-15. Stick it on there. Like that. And then these, perhaps, we can just rotate a bit. To offset them like this. So that they're not clipping. And then they'll still deploy outwards. Actually, that kind of looks cool. So we'll try this. All right. Let's save. Oh, nope. Let's save this. Let's overwrite the RA-15 here. Okay. And then let's load up the deployer. This should have enough DV to get where we're going, I think. Let's delete the fairing. And let's... Well, I guess we could just remove these one at a time and see if we can slide... So if I delete you, and delete you, and delete you... Can I now slide the RA-15s in here? I can. Look at that. Okay, there's our new deployment. And our new set of satellites. Let's build the fairing here and make sure that works. Bring this out just a skosh, just like there. And then up, yep. And up to... Oh, it's gonna clip in if we go anyways in at all. So we'll come up to there. And then we'll close the fairing right on top of the... There we go. Okay. So, we've got our new carrier ready to go. I suppose the only thing left to do, really, is to launch it. See if we can get our orbit up. Okay. Now, what was my problem last time? There was something... I had some kind of problem last time, where I couldn't control it that far out, or what I was trying to do something with it, and I felt that I couldn't when we were done with the deployment. Communitron DTSM-1, 2.0G, that seems good. Yeah, I really can't remember. There was no way to do re-entry. I remember that. Okay, well, this is probably fine. If I figure it out, I'll try and make a note for, you know, whatever future me might have in store. But this is good. Let's get this launched and see if we can get out to our new resonant orbit way out at the edge of the SOI. Okay, let's wait for morning. Might as well just launch into the sun. Okay, there we go. Let's quick save. And let's deploy. Alright, so to 50 meters per second. Ease it down just a little tiny bit. Just a few degrees. And then we just follow prograde pretty much all the way. So, we're going out to 80 million meters, or 80,000 kilometers. And once there, we're going to need a dive orbit. And what that means is, instead of like last time where the satellites came back around before the carrier craft, this time it's going to be the opposite, where the carrier craft is going to come around before the satellites. This is going very well. Just following prograde with this rocket seems to work very well for getting into orbit. You see our apoapsis is climbing towards 70. Our inclination's a bit off, but we can correct that. There we go. Now we just wait a bit. And as we achieve a closer altitude to our apoapsis, we can burn a little bit more. We are losing a little bit of speed here. But that's okay. We'll catch up. This skipper is pretty strong. And get us where we need to go. So I think I'll skip forward just a little bit here. Just up to the T-minus 1 minute mark, I think. Maybe even a little bit closer. Maybe 45 seconds. And we'll see what burning does there. Okay. Let's push that periapsis up. Okay. Looks like this is going to work pretty well here. Getting up to orbital speed. T-minus 22 seconds is okay. We've got a little bit of wiggle room here. We've got 15 kilometers, or 15 kilometers to work with. We're going out to 80,000 too, so it's alright if that balloons up. I just like practicing getting a circular orbit from launch. It's pretty good practice to be able to do that. It's a good skill to have in this game. So I undershot it just a little bit. 45 seconds was a little bit too early. 55 probably would have been better. But we're going to be fine. This is going to be able to escape Kerbin's orbit. Gravity. And we'll get this up to 70-ish. And we're going to have plenty of DV left for our maneuvers, so that's good. Okay, and there we go. We have achieved an orbit. All right. So, the next thing I think we need to do is correct our inclination. So I'm going to use the moon to do that. We will... Yeah, we're going out past Minmus. Our orbit's actually going to be outside Minmus's orbit by quite a bit. Maybe out here, right at the edge of the sphere of influence. So anyway, first, let's set the moon as a target, and then let's use the descending node over here. Wait, where's our craft? Here it is. Deployer 1. All right. We'll use the descending node over here to correct our inclination. So let's set a maneuver here. And let's use a little bit of delta V to fix that. I think we want normal here. Yeah, okay, and a little bit more. Negative 0.1 seems good. Can we get to 0? I can't even tell. There we go. There's 0. Okay. So that's 110 meters per second of delta V along a normal course. Some other things I should do is I should maybe... what can I do? How are we for charge? We're good. We do have a solar panel or two on here somewhere, as I recall. Or I think we do. Yeah, we have solar panels on the side of the service bay, which contains the control mechanisms. Okay, let's get our Communitron deployed, our antenna. Extend that. There we go. So now we'll have communications. And we can go ahead and deploy our fairing here. Very nice. Okay, so we're ready to go for deployment. And what else are we going to do? For this burn, we're at 10 seconds. We'd like this to be fairly precise, so I think I'm going to bring the fuel engine, engine thrust limiter down a bit. Let's come down to about, I don't know, 30. 30 seems good. That'll put us at a 33-second burn. That gives us a good amount of control over making sure that this burn is accurate. It doesn't have to be super accurate. It's okay if we're inclined, you know, 0.1 or 0.1 degrees positive or minus. That's fine. I'd like it to be close to an equatorial orbit. Okay, so I think we're ready here. I'm going to quick save. We've got SAS engaged. We're pointed normal. Just turn that off to save battery. Although I guess with our solar panels, we don't really need to worry. And let's come over to our maneuver. There we go. All right, so we're 60 seconds out. Oh, we're pointed the wrong way. Let's point at the maneuver node here. Make sure we got that going on. And then we will work forward a bit and do our burn. Okay. Burn in 2, 1, go. And this one, we want these two periapsis nodes to align. There we go. Pretty dang close. That's pretty good. Okay, so next up, we need to get out where we're headed. And we're going to start with our periapsis here. So we're going to add a maneuver, and we are just going to burn quite a lot prograde. We need to get out to 80 million kilometers, which is an enormous amount. So that's going to take a lot of burning. In fact, we'll just do something like, well, hang on. Let me cancel that, and let me come to the craft. Let's put the engine back to full here. And let's just set up a 1-minute burn. I don't know what that's going to look like, but or how much DV that'll be. But let's go over to periapsis here. And let's get up to a minute of burning here. So let's try 300. That's going to be 25 seconds. All right, let's do 500. 600. 700 meters per second. That's a burn time of 56 seconds. All right, so that works. That'll start ballooning our orbit out. Now, we could try to get a gravity assist from the moon to save DV, but we've got tons of DV, so I don't think we need to worry about it. Let's go ahead and face prograde here. And let's zoom around and do this first maneuver. It's going to balloon us out quite a bit to 3.68 million miles, or meters. That's good, but it's not the 80 million meters that we need. So, here comes the first burn. We should be facing prograde. Yes, there we go. Okay. And we're ready to burn. So we're 36 seconds off of our mark. Let's speed forward just a bit. There we go. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. It's actually quite nice that we can burn this much DV in a minute. The engine's quite good. Usually a burn of 700 meters per second will take 2 or 3, but we don't have a huge mass on the deployer, and the engine's strong, so this is working very well. We could have put this pretty much anywhere on the orbit, but get the most efficiency out of periapsis, so just a good habit to keep. And look, these things are all, both moons are aligned. That's really interesting. Okay, this is going to balloon up our orbit and our period. Well over 2 hours to get around. Okay, so there is our first burn completed. Let's prepare our second one. Okay, so we'll come back to periapsis here and add another maneuver. We'll add, I don't know, another 700 DV. Let's see what that does. That pushes us out way too far, so that's too much. Let's try 300. Why is that negative? What am I doing wrong here? Is that too much? 100? 7.479. Okay. Maybe I use the incrementer here. 13, 38, too far. Okay, yeah, so we're getting to the point where it's too far. It's beyond the sphere of influence. So we want to go out to 80 million meters. Right out to the edge of the sphere of influence. Okay. It looks like that's about as good as we can get. We may or may not be able to get this exact. I'm not sure if we can lower our engine well enough to make this happen. We might not be able to tweak this down to exactly 80 million, but we'll get as close as we can. All right, so this is going to take 213.8, and this has to be fairly precise because we don't want to go past the sphere of influence because then we'll be on an escape trajectory. So let's get this down quite a ways. That's a little bit too much. 1 minute, 27 seconds. That works. All right. That's going to be another prograde burn. Let's do a quick save here, and let's advance time to the next maneuver. So we'll pop around here. You see we're going to fly out well past Minmus, right out to the edge of the SOI. Very exciting stuff. Okay. Let's face our maneuver node, actually, and then let's jump forward just a few seconds here. Okay, here we go. So we're burning for 1 minute 24 here, and we're going to watch this orbit balloon out to 80 million meters, which is kind of incredible if you think about it. The next thing we're going to have to do is fix our periapsis by coming out to the AP and burning. Now that's going to take a while. That's going to be 20 days. And the delivery, the amount of time for this mission is going to be several months to get this done. But when we're done, we're going to have a ring of satellites way out here that are very, very powerful. Okay, it's growing slowly. It's the last few seconds are going to cover like this. It's a geometric progression. Okay, that is pretty good. I'm going to call that there. Right out to 79.9. So, we've managed to avoid most of the moons. Minmus won't be here on our return. It'll be over here somewhere. So we're not going to have an encounter problem. That could come up later in the mission. I'm not sure. Now let's see about what does a correction burn do for us. If we come out here, can we burn a little prograde something here and kind of tweak our final AP at all without kind of overshooting it? Yeah, see, here we get a little bit more control. We can get right up to 80,000 or 80 million meters with like 200 or so meters to go on extra. Am I reading that right? So this is million meters. 80 million, 0,000, 200, something like that. Okay, so that's about the best I can do. Now, if I move this forward just ever so slightly, does that start to impact? Yeah, it starts to change the delivery. That's 9999. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. So that should be exactly 80 million meters for our AP, which is what we want. I think this is showing the current value. I'm not sure. We'll check that. We'll check that after we do this burn. But this is a 1 meter per second. This is 0.1 meters per second. So this is going to be a really fine-grained burn here. We got to bring this all the way down. And that's going to let us burn for 2 seconds to get there. Okay, so we can kind of make our way out to that maneuver node. I'm going to quick save here. We can make our way out to that maneuver node and burn out there and just kind of like freehand it and get that AP up to exactly 80 million. So this is 20 days later. And we want to face prograde here. And let's actually cancel out the maneuver here and just give ourselves a little bit of freehand burning here. Let's see if we can't get this right. Even at the lowest throttle, it is skyrocketing up here. We might have to get closer for the final fine-tuning. So 9.6, 9.7, 9.8. 9.9. Okay. So that is about 800 meters per second off of our target, which means we really need to come up here to the final node out by the AP and do a teeny tiny little burn, maybe somewhere around here. Let's quick save again and let's warp out a little bit closer. See if we can push this AP out to exactly what we want. Maybe not. It may not be possible. If we get really close to the AP, we could do it, but then I'm not sure what that's gonna... Well, we'll find out. Okay, there's time warp complete. How are we doing for charge here? We're still fine. Wow, okay. All right, let's take a tiny little boost here and see how quickly this rises. Still going very fast, faster than I can control. Okay, that's about as good as I can do there. Let's come right out to pre-AP. Maybe right around here? I'm not sure. Maybe we even need to get a little bit closer, like this? I've got the engine as low as it'll go in terms of thrust. And I'm just hitting shift on the nozzle just a tiny bit. Let's see if we can get these last few meters. Still goes really fast here. we go. 80 million meters. That's our apoapsis. How about that? All right, so we're going to do some more burns, and this is going to get messed up. But now we need to figure out, okay, well, if this is our AP, what exactly is our periapsis supposed to be to get the correct resonant orbit so that we can deploy our satellites in the right order? And actually, I need to get that done and then come back around, I think. Or no, do we drop it at the periapsis? I think we drop it at the periapsis. Or no, we would drop it at the apoapsis. So we're going to have to do another full orbit before we do our first deployment. Let me swap over here now to the resonant orbit calculator. And we can take a look at this. So here's what I looked up. If we have an orbital altitude of 80 million meters, then we can't have a normal non-dive orbit like we did before. So before, the gold ring, the inner ring was the gold ring, the final orbit, and the outer ring was the ellipsis. But because the sphere of influence ends at the 83,559,286 meter mark, if we do that, we will escape Kerbin's sphere of influence, and we will no longer have an orbit. So we need a dive orbit, which is why clicking this does nothing. It's already showing a dive orbit. So our periapsis needs to be 41,818,624, basically. So 41,818 is what we need. Let me switch back now. And let's go into the game. And when we get to the when we get to the apoapsis, we're going to need a maneuver here to get our periapsis out to 41 million. Now, fortunately, this is not going to take very much work at all. All the way out here, 80 million miles from home, it's just going to take like a few tens of dV to get the periapsis up where we want it. In fact, we might have trouble getting enough precision here. So let's see what this looks like. We want 41 million. Okay, I can go a little bit more than this. There we go. That's getting close. So we want 41,818,000. And then we'll have to eyeball the rest. We can get this close to... That's 816. Yeah, that's about as close as we can get. Okay. Let's check. Let's get a reasonable burn time for this. So right now it's at 32 minutes of burn. That's not good. 21. That's 46 seconds. That's a little too much. There we go. 1 minute 32 is 1 minute 30 is about what I like for these like fine control burns. We're still gonna have to do some corrections at the periapsis, but that's okay. We can get that done. Okay. So we want to get this as close as possible. Let's target our maneuver node here. I guess that would be prograde eventually anyway. But let's try and do this burn and see how close we can get to the exact orbit we want. So let's zip forward. It's very nice that we still have control of the probe this far out. That is thanks to our original relay satellite. We can actually see that if we go and check. If we go to the map view and turn on ComNet, we can see we're going right all the way back to that first, that one of those relay satellites out there. It's fantastic. Okay. So we're burning in 46 seconds. We're facing our maneuver node. SAS is on. We're ready to go. Okay. Let's get this done. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's get below that 10-second mark. There we go. And here comes the burn in 2, 1, go. This is going to be pretty hard to track here. But when we're done, this is going to be our resonant orbit. Or our dive orbit. And then the actual orbit, the final circular orbit, is going to be outside of this, because that periapsis is going to have to get pushed out even more. Now, it doesn't matter if this is kind of a few meters per second off, because the satellites are going to fix it anyway for themselves. They're going to circularize their orbit at exactly 80 million meters. So they're going to be doing some work. As long as we get reasonably close, it should be fine. Seal Shark Productions, welcome back to the channel. How do you edit those thumbnails for the streams? Well, I use a program called Paint.net. It lets me create different layers, and I use the clone stamp tool mostly to get rid of letters that I don't want. I go search the web for fonts that are either exact matches or close, and then I copy and paste in some Kerbal faces and trim out the edges with the delete tool. That's pretty much the whole experience. Let me focus in on this burn here. Okay. Now, where's our periapsis? 41,702. All right, let me come in here and turn this way down. We want to get to 41,818, right? Let me double check my numbers there. 41,818, 624. Okay. Let's just face prograde. And let's go back to the map view, and let's watch this periapsis. So I want this at 41,818. And then 624 would be ideal. Okay, that's a little bit past it. That is fine. That is good enough, man. All right. So we've got our dive orbit set up, which means the next thing to do is how far off of the apoapsis are we? Yeah, see, we're a few minutes past it. I wonder if we should just deploy a satellite here and circularize. I think we should. I think that's fine. Or no, you know what? It's a degree of difference. That would mean I'd have to wait the whole 74 days here to get back to AP to release the first satellite. But, I mean, time is we have infinite time in this game, so maybe I'll just do that. All right. Let's come back around to AP here. And I guess somewhere back here. Let's just warp here. It's a big old orbit. Look at it go. Okay, so we are 4 minutes from AP. It is time to deploy the first satellite. So we are going to come in here and, oh, you know what I just realized? I don't think I fixed the, oh no, I don't think I fixed the decouple force. I don't think I reduced it down to 0. Oh no, this whole thing might have been for naught. If this, is there any way to change it? There's not, is there? Oh, somehow that worked. Okay, all right. Let's switch over to deployer 1. Okay. So you now need to circularize at AP. So you need to get out to 80 million on both sides. So you are going to place a maneuver here, and you are going to warp out to 80 million periapsis. Let's get that done. Okay. We've got to bring that down just a skosh. Looks like this is the best we can do, and then we'll have to kind of freehand the rest. Okay. We need to... There's a thing that happens here sometimes with this. I'm not sure. Is the engine activated? I can't tell. Activate the engine. There we go. Okay. The stack separator, it should have already stacked. I'm not sure why the fairing is still there. We should see the engine. There might be a bit of a problem here, but we need to do 35.5 meters per second. It's only at 3 seconds. Let's get that down a bit. I want this pretty accurate. All right, so 1 minute burn time, that's going to work. Let's save that, and let's jump forward a little bit. Let's see if we can get this deployed at apoapsis and circularized into an 80 million meter orbit right at the edge of the sphere of influence. All right, here we go. There it goes. Okay, that's working. So we're slowly leaving the deployment orbit and circularizing to an 80 million meter orbit. This is cool stuff, man. Let's just stick to prograde here. Periapsis is climbing. We want as close to a perfect 80 million meter orbit as possible. You agree it's cool, huh? Yeah, I love this game. Just try all the challenges and trying to do stuff and make it work is just, I don't know, it's really cool to me. Okay. Gently, gently. Okay. Let's get these solar panels extended. And let's freehand the last little bit. Let's turn the thrust limiter all the way down to 0.5. And let's come out to the map view and check out the periapsis. It's going to be way over here. Let's pin that, and let's just feather the engine a little bit to get to 80 million over here. Yeah, that's climbing really fast. There's not much I can do about it. $79. 800,000. We can go a little bit faster. 850. 79.9. 79.50. $985, $990, $995, $996, $999. What's happening to our AP right now? Yeah, our AP's gone out too far. All right, so we need to stop here and add an alarm at apoapsis. We need to add a maneuver or an alarm up there. Well, we can kind of handle that manually. We can kind of watch as things progress. So we're close here with our very first deployment. It's a very long orbit, 74 days on the deployment on the carrier, and like even longer, 112 days on the outer orbit. So let's go to let's quick save here, and let's go to the tracking station. Let's get rid of the stack separator. That's this. Okay, let's terminate that. We are going to rename this Deployer 1. We can... Vessel classification, relay. Michael was telling me there's a way to change the vessel classification down here. Altitude 80 million and 2. First hop deployer 1. First hop signal. Is there another way to... Nope. Yeah, I thought he was telling me there was a way to change the classification down here, but I don't see that. Let's... Can I rename it from here? Ah, you double... Okay, you double click. Is that what it is? Yeah, you can double click. Okay, so this is our RA15 80 million Relay A. Or no, let's follow our naming convention here. So this is a Kerbin 80 million Relay A. It's 80,000 kilometers or 80 million meters. So this is 1,024. This one would be 80,000. 80,000 kilometers. I guess we're going to follow that. And it is a relay. Okay. So that's the first one deployed. Let's go back to deployer 1 here. We can see the beginnings of a new ComNet triangle here. What? There's a couple of vessels floating around Minmus that are providing links, it looks like. Okay, let's go back to deployer 1. And let's go out to the map view here. And so we need to do two things. We need to fix up the relay. So, wait a minute. We need to fix up this guy. Not fix that. We need to deploy the second satellite when he comes back around to the apoapsis again. And then the other craft, we have to fix its orbit when it gets to its periapsis. So let's actually, I think this is going to happen first. Let's we just lost contact with it, I think. All right, let's go back to the tracking station. So I think we actually want to be flying this, and we want to take it out to its new apoapsis and do a little bit of fine-tuning here. So that's gotten a little bit too big. That's a little bit too small. So we want to come out here. Let me just make sure. We are maintaining our electric charge just fine. Yes. And we've got our satellite going. At some point, we're going to shut down the... command and control, the remote guidance unit. We can hibernate that. I think hibernate and warp is fine. But let's see. If I take you out to AP... That's in 51 days. Yeah, let's come out here. I don't need an alarm. Let's just warp out to the apoapsis over here. I'm reasonably sure this is what I want to do. Yeah. Okay, so that's not going to make it around for another deployment before this gets here, is it? It's close, but not... Okay, not too close. All right. So now that we're at AP... Yeah, we're about a minute out. 9 minutes out. Okay. So what we want to do is pin our AP and our PE, and we want these as close to 80 million as possible. So, we're going to face... For this one, we're going to face prograde. We want to push the periapsis out by just a few meters. Just a tiny few meters per second. And unfortunately, we're as low as we can get on the thrust limiter on the Spark. So... I don't see another way to... We don't have any RCS on this. We don't have a lower engine. I wasn't quite sure this far out what I was going to need. If I thought about it, I would have kind of put a second set of engines on, like the little teeny tiny ones, but I didn't think about it. All right, so I'm going to get ready to just feather this just a bit to push the periapsis out to 80 million. Let's jump forward to actual apoapsis here. Okay. Down to 15 seconds is about right. All right, let's see what we can do. So just the shift key. There we go. So that put it at 80,055,000. That's the best I can do. I don't have low enough thrust to do more than that. Which means the next thing we're going to want is to come out to its periapsis and retrograde a little bit to fix up the extra 26,000 meters per second of the, or meters of the apoapsis. So we'll add an alarm here. And What is this going to do? This is going to... We're going to switch to... And we're also going to pause. I do like the switch to. Message, display on screen message. Okay. I've never used that switch to before. Or I guess it'll, when the alarm hits, then I can hit the switch to thing. Huh, okay. So that's in 56 days. Now we need to go to the tracking station and switch back to our other ship. Emily, welcome back to the channel. Emily says, ring? Yes, we're making another satellite ring. So it's going to be a big ring of satellites here. Now for you, you just need to get to your AP and drop off another satellite friend. That's going to be in 23 days. Okay, let's warp to there. You can see Kerbin Relay A coming in. Altitude is a little bit on the high side, but we're going to fix that in a minute. Okay. This is going to ease its way down as we get closer. I like to be ready about 4 minutes out, something like that, just to give myself a little bit of time to work with. I might have gone too far there. All right, well, let's release the second one. Let's face prograde first. Oh, we're fine. We're 26 minutes out. That's plenty of time. Once we're nice and set on our prograde orbit, or heading, I'm going to decouple you. And we're going to swap over to the other craft. And we're going to set up its injection burn into its higher orbit. So at apoapsis, we're going to... we are going to burn prograde. And we are going to get this up to, come on, don't go away. Get you up to 80 million on the other side. That's pretty close, but a little bit too much, looks like. As we start to get closer, it starts pushing up the AP. Which we don't want to do. So we'll get as close as we can. That's pretty good. Okay. 35.6 meters per second of DV. That sounds about right. We have broken off a little bit here. Let's bring the thrust limiter down. About 5. That works. Okay. And I think now we're ready. Let's zip forward. And let's do this burn. Second satellite, getting ready to deploy. Okay. Skip forward just a few seconds here. And as we hit apoapsis, we can do our burn. In 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Okay. Oh, we're not burning. Why not? Activate the engine. There we go. All right. That was a whoopsie. Only a few seconds off, though. Shouldn't really affect anything. Not at these altitudes. Okay, so we're going to follow this down to about, you know, 0.1 or 0.2, and then we'll freehand the last little bits if we can. We don't want to push it too far, because then it'll start pushing out the AP. We want to get close, though. So these RA-15s are strong enough that, realistically, we should be able to communicate with Duna with them. Okay, there we go. Now, let's zoom out to the map view a little bit. Or actually, let's tweak this down even further. There we go. Okay. Let's zoom back out, and now let's go over and check out its periapsis. We want its periapsis to be close to 80 million. Let's pin that, and let's just start feathering this a little bit. And get that up there. 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. Okay, so now we're getting into the point where the AP is starting to move. You just want to tweak this just a bit. Okay. And now we need to kind of go around to each of these and kind of tweak them a little bit more by hand to get them perfect. So the next opportunity we're going to have to fix up the apoapsis here is over at its periapsis. Let's add an alarm there. So we've got a couple alarms going now. The next thing we're going to need is going to be for the main vessel. Or the next thing for the main vessel is going to be a while in the future when it drops off the third one. But we can see the beginnings of our triangle here. There's relay A. And we just dropped off relay B, which we need to rename. So let's go to the tracking station. And you're going to be renamed to Kerbin 80,000. Relay B. Okay. And I think we can just warp to our next... Yeah, we can warp to our next thing and switch to it. Okay. And then we can warp to your alarm. Okay, so at your periapsis, we want to fix your apoapsis, get it as close to 80 million as we can. Let's pin that. So we want to go just a teeny tiny bit retrograde here. And our thrust should be as low as possible right now. Yeah, it's already limited down. Okay. How close are we to periapsis? 55 seconds. All right. So we just want to feather this just a bit to bring this AP down. We want this as close to 80 million as possible. I've said that a few times. I think you guys were watching get the idea. But I got to fill this content with me talking about something, so there's that. All right, a few seconds in. Let's get a little bit closer. Okay, right around there seems fine. Let's just feather the thruster. Okay, we can get this pretty close, looks like. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay. So, we're 12 meters off on the periapsis and 55 meters off on the apoapsis. So really, we've kicked it a little skosh too far, but I don't think I can get enough. I don't think I can get my thrust low enough to fix this at this point. I don't think there's anything I can do. Like, I can just do the quickest possible burn, but I don't think I can get 12 meters here. Yeah, see, I really screwed the pooch there. I went 500 off instead of 12. And turn back around and try and fix that. Okay, all right. You know what? 24 meters on one side and 55 meters on the other. I'm not going to be able to best that. That's the best I can do. So that's as close to 80 million meters as I can possibly get. This one's orbit is now done. So the deployer has to come around to its AP for its next delivery. So we're done with that ship. Let's switch over to this, which in 7 days is going to need to fix something as well. Okay. Oh, you know what I should have done? Hold on. Let me go back and switch to Relay A again. And let me get it prepped for its... It's in its final orbit, so now we can shut down. And let me just make sure. Yeah, 80 million both sides. So now we can actually shut down the probe core. So it shut down, and now we can toggle SAS. We can put it in hibernation. And it is done. Okay. Back to the tracking station and switch to Relay B. And it needs to extend its solar panels for sure. Should have done that earlier. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay. And our engine should be thrust all the way down already. Yep, okay. Now, when you get to your periapsis, what are we doing with you? You're pretty close, but that's... Oh, that's 157 meters off. That's not really that much I can do. I can tweak that a little bit. I can get that down to like 50 or so, I guess. So we're going to want to come here and do the teeniest, tiniest little retrograde burn and then set up another one on the other side, because this one's more off. This is about 1,000 off. So let's just, let's go ahead and warp next here. Actually, I'll quick save just in case I screw this up somehow. Let's warp next. Okay. There we go. 1 minute out. There's our alarm. Okay. So this is close enough. 1 minute, one way or the other is not going to make a difference. Let's just ever so slightly tap the engine here on a retro burn. Try and bring that last 157 down closer. Yeah, I went too far. Man, the thrust amounts are so minuscule out here. I don't seem to be able to get this. Back to 157 out there. I mean, the engine's down at 0.5, right? I did check that. Yeah, it's as low as it can get. All right, I'll try one more time. Now that's 40 meters. That's pretty good. I don't think I can best that. I'll keep tweaking it a little bit. I'm like spamming the X key and just trying to tap shift. No, I did it wrong. Making it worse, making it worse. That's 60 meters. Do I want to keep messing with this or what? I'm not sure. Ooh, that's perfect. 79,999,998. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's as close to perfect as I'm going to get. All right, so this one is still 875 meters off. So we'll set another alarm over here. And now we'll switch back to our deployer. So that's in 55 days. If we switch to... Oh, hold on. I guess I need to go to the tracking station and get rid of the debris there. Where is the debris? Okay, you can be terminated. And we can switch over to you. When is your last deployment happening? Actually, we can deploy right now. That's not a problem. And then you'll basically be done, and we just have to worry about your actual satellite here. So, let's decouple. There we go. Switch over to you. Your engine, we need to activate. Here we go. And we can deploy your solar panels as well. Okay, so the other vessel has done its job. It is finished now. For you, we need to get your periapsis fixed up. All right, so let's rename the vessel. You're going to be Kerbin 80,000 Relay C. And you are the last one we need to fix. Okay. So for you, let's get you to your apoapsis, and let's do your burn. That's going to be all the way over here. Actually, we're close enough that we can kind of tweak this a little bit. Why is this number changing? It really shouldn't be. Yeah, there we go. What's going on here? Did extending the solar panels do something? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Hold on. Let's not have done that. Let's just wait until this gets where it's going. So you're going to come over to your apoapsis and deploy the last satellite. That's in 34 days. Okay. So let's just add another... There we go. Let's warp next, and then we'll deploy right at the 80 million mark. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was extending the solar panels. Maybe it was a small amount of ejection force on the stack separator. Something happened there. Okay, so now we're ready. How far out are we? Let's stop a little bit early. There we go. Let's delete that. Let's hide this. Let's come in and deploy the satellite. Decouple. Let's turn your engine on. Oh, I have to transfer over. There we go. Turn your engine on. Activate engine. Okay. Let's get you a maneuver planned to go out to, this should be, what, 36.5, I think? Was that what it was? Yeah, that's close. Okay, there we go. 36.62, whatever. All right, so we need to do that burn, like, immediately, I guess. Start burn in negative 15 seconds. All right, let's face prograde. What is it? Why is it turning? I don't understand. What's going on there? Did this get jettisoned away somehow? All right, well, it's facing prograde. Let's burn, I guess. Yeah, that's working. Okay. Let's get down a little closer. Okay. All right. Now then, there's our deployer back there. He's done. Let's get these extended. We're almost done with this deployment here. Let's bring this way down. Okay. Now let's check our AP. Our AP's over here now. It's gone up a little bit. Let's pin the periapsis and wait until we get here. That's in a day. Let's warp forward to that. Okay, maybe I should have used a warp here. Probably get us there faster. T-minus 1 hour. This is very close right now. That's good. Okay, so we're facing prograde. 18 minutes out. We can do better than that. Get right up on this thing. Okay, 2 minutes 30 seconds from apoapsis. Just get right in there. Right under the 1 minute mark should be fine. Okay, there we go. Right on top of it at 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. All right. So we're just going to do a teeny tiny little burn here. Try and get that far periapsis up to 80 million. $950. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. 980. 990. Last few little bits. There we go. 80 million, 21 meters. Okay. And this one's at 441, so that's almost perfect. That's really nice. We can squeeze this down just a little bit at the periapsis. Let's add an alarm for that. Okay, so we got 2 alarms right now. Let's switch to this vessel. We're almost done. What is your problem right now? So your AP is 2 meters off, perfect, and your periapsis is 875. All right, so let's go ahead and warp to your next alarm. That should bring you right over here to your AP. And then we're going to do a little tiny bit of prograde burning here. Okay. Let's pin that periapsis. How close are we? We're at 11 meters out. Oh, it's still warping us. Okay. There we go, right down to the 1 minute mark. That time warp is nice. All right, so we're going to adjust just a tiny little adjustment here. Oh, ooh, that's bad. I was facing the wrong way. I didn't wait for that to get where it was supposed to be. All right, here we go. $950. 80 million and 4, 79,999,950. I guess we could try to squeeze out that last 50. It seems greedy, though. I guess we can do it. I mean, these tiny little increments, I don't really know the math, but I feel like it should take centuries to cause a problem, right? But I do enjoy the challenge of getting as close to perfect as possible. I will remember that if I'm out this far again, I need those tiny little engines. Like I need like the baby, like 2 kilonewton engines to get this to work perfectly. All right, let's just, there we go. 80 million 4, 80 million 163. We made it worse. Of course we did. Let's see if we can fix it. Okay, retrograde. There we go. Okay, 80 million 4, 80 million 21. That is sufficient. Okay, so this one is done. We can deactivate the engine, shut it down. You can deactivate the probe core, shut that down, put that in permanent hibernation. There we go. And now the satellite just sits here and relays stuff forever. Exposure, 0.28, 0.76. Okay, well, hopefully that's enough. Actually, should I rotate it somehow to try and face the sun? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I should. So with the probe off, I cannot rotate it at all. Let's turn the probe back on. Come out of hibernation. And I guess we just try and face the sun here. What is that? Is that radial in or radial out? That's radial out. Let's face radial out. And you know what? Actually, if we leave SAS enabled and leave radial out on, it will always face the sun, right? So maybe we leave the probe core on and use it like this. I'll have to check that. How much does this draw per power? How much power does this draw? Does it tell you? First hop, 80 million meters. Love that. Command state operational. Electric charge, 15. It has its own charge. I don't know. We got batteries on here and 3 of these Gigantors. It should be fine. So we'll leave SAS enabled forever. We'll leave it facing radial out forever. Okay. And this one's done. I think they're all 3 are done now. Did we shut down the engine? Yes, we did. Okay. Which vessel is this? Vessel naming. This is Relay B. Okay. So Relay B is 100% done. Let's go to the tracking station. Yeah, there's our big outer triangle. 80 million meters. Fantastic. This is working. Okay. We've got some debris here. We can terminate that. We can go over to this, and actually we can rename it first. You are Kerbin 80,000 kilometers. Relay C. All right, accept. I need to go to Relay A. And we're going to turn the probe core back on so that we can use SAS. And we're going to use it to always point radial out. So it's always going to point towards the sun, I think, if I've understood this correctly. Where's it going right now? Do I want radial out or radial in? Radial out, okay. There we go. So now it's getting the full sun. Or not exactly? Why isn't it facing the sun? Shouldn't it be facing the sun? I feel like it should. Radial in. Radial out. Okay. So I guess we're facing out from Kerbin, so the sun's over there. Is there a way to always get it to point at the sun or not? Maybe I just pointed at the sun and used stability assist here. I don't know. Wouldn't it change as it rotates around Kerbin, though? It's not orbiting the sun is the problem. It's orbiting Kerbin. It would remain stable based on its relationship to Kerbin, I think. I mean, we can check. So let me switch to stability assist, and let's point it at the sun here. If I can figure out how to do that. Is that? No, I've gone too far. Hold on. I need to backtrack. That's close to what I want. I think that's it. It's getting 0.81, 0.99, 0.90. Can I pin that? I want to set it up so that they're all getting as much sun as possible. Now I had to rotate them to get them to fit into the deployment vehicle, so maybe this isn't possible. .90. 9294 1.0. 96. 97. That's pretty good. They're all above 0.95 now. That's pretty good. I think that's the best I can do. So if I leave it like this, let's save it here. If I leave it like this, does it stay pointed at the sun for like forever, right? Let's do a quick save, and then let's just warp forward through time. Is it still pointing at the sun? I think so. I can't tell for sure, but I think so. It seemed like the sun was moving in relation. Does it just kind of stay pointed at the sun forever? I guess that's what I want. Okay, so we'll leave it on stability assist pointing at the sun. That gives it lots of exposure and light, hopefully. Okay, so then we go... Which one was this? I can't even tell anymore. It doesn't really show you the vessel name anywhere, does it? You have to click on it. Get in here. Vessel naming. All right, so this was Relay A. Okay, so Relay A is set up. Let's go to the tracking station and look at Relay B. Let's get you pointed at the sun. With SAS enabled. Hibernation off, okay. So you're kind of pointing the right way already. Okay, I don't know how we managed that, but let's just leave you on stability assist right there forever. That looks good. And if we go to number C, Relay C here, are your orbits all fixed, or do we have more stuff to do with you? Yeah, you're basically fine, right? I think all three of them are done. 441? So what, do we have one last thing to do for that? We can bring that down a little bit. But let's get him pointed at the sun as well. And he's not quite pointed where I'd like. That's going the wrong way. Oh, wait, we can't do this right now because we have a maneuver with him. Switch to? Is that this one? Yeah, this one's periapsis. Okay. I don't know about that. But this periapsis, we need to bring the 441 down just a skosh. So we're going to face retrograde. Face retrograde, and then we're going to manually feather the engine just a bit. It's already as low as it goes. Okay. So we're facing retrograde, and let's just bring this down from 441 if we can. There we go. Now it's 38 meters off perfect. And 21 over here. Okay. So, you're done in terms of moving. Let's disable your engine. Let's point you towards the sun. So awkward to figure out, wait, which way do I want to go here? Where do I want to be? Radial out? I guess. Something like that. It's not quite right. Okay. I think that's pretty good. 98, 1, 99. All right. Let's just kind of stay pointed like that forever, I guess. And then if we zoom out here, the network is really good. So there's our new 80 million meter relay ring of RA-15 satellites. This is going to give us communications all the way out to Duna and Eve when they're nearby, I believe. Anyway, I think because I did the exact same thing yesterday, but just in close, I didn't have a lot of interest today. There are not a lot of folks in the chat. But what can you do? I needed to get this done. This is going to allow us to send probes to Duna if we need to, and communicate back with the KSC from that planet. Let's get rid of these markers. And I think we're all set. So the last thing to do, we go back to the tracking station, is to go to our deployer 1 here and terminate it. Seems like a waste, but we have infinite money because of cheats, so let's just get rid of it. Okay, so now we've got these three on the inner relay, way inside. So there's our inner relay of the RA2s, which gives us local communications. And then as we zoom out past Minmus, we can now see our 80,000 meter relay right at the edge of our sphere of influence. So one other thing that's cool about this is it actually gives us a visual indicator of Kerbin's sphere of influence. It's actually a little bit further out. It's another 3 million meters. Because we're at 80 million, and the actual sphere of influence ends at like 83.5 or something like that. But it does give us a visual indicator of exactly where the sphere of influence ends, at least on the equatorial plane. We don't have anything in a polar orbit at the moment. But I am pretty happy with this deployment, and we can actually clean up our tracking station by turning off relays so we don't see them, right? So we're going to see, we see probes. Probes are on. I guess it considers the Surveyor 1 a probe. We've got the science station, we've got the SSTO, and then we've got our flags turned off and our sights turned on. Vessel links. Yeah, you can see the vessel links. So these three are the, those are the three. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you can actually see how they're talking to each other. You can also see that Kerbin blocks communications, right? So these are all the ground stations, the Deep Space Network stuff. But that's really cool. I like turning everything on because now I can kind of see. Oh, and there's our orbit around the sun. If I bring these back, yeah, then we can see their orbit as well. That's cool. I've now got a really strong relay network of communication satellites set up in this game. So That's going to be it for today. I don't think there's anyone in the chat. It seems folks were not too interested in this one. But if you're watching later, if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a long and painstaking process with no Kerbal deaths. Not super interesting, but maybe you can use it to kind of set up your own relays, figure out things for yourself. Oh, there's Moho in the distance. And as I said, with this in place, we should be able to communicate all the way to Duna when we go there. So we'll see you in the next one. Take care, and thanks for watching.